Hans Vodder here again at New Life Church in Port Townsend, Washington. We've got another in the weekly devotional series using Juanita Ryan's book, An Enduring Embrace, Experiencing the Love at the Heart of Prayer. This past week, I found myself in a bit more of a reflective, introspective mood, which is not terribly surprising. I'm sort of an introvert by nature, but, just a little bit more reflective than even that usual. And so I think it's appropriate to, I think that sort of mood is appropriate for the devotional for today, which is going to the doctor as prayer. And it's a little bit more on sort of the introspective, taking stock sort of vein as far as devotionals go. But I think it's good too. So we'll begin with the scripture verse, Matthew 9, 10 through 13, which reads as follows. While Jesus was having dinner at Matthew's house, many tax collectors and sinners came and ate with him and his disciples. When the Pharisees saw this, they asked his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" On hearing this, Jesus said, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." And again, that's Matthew 9, 10 through 13. Prayer is going to the great physician and admitting that we are not well. The reality of our soul sickness is not an easy thing for us to fully admit. We may know the truth about our soul sickness only in an abstract way. The full reality of it may be more than we can face. Instead of facing our soul sickness, we may keep ourselves busy trying to look good. We may work hard at being righteous. We may desperately try to convince ourselves and others that we are spiritually healthy. In some ways, it can come as a relief when this facade begins to crumble. As distressing as it is to see our soul sickness, it can be a relief to heed what Jesus says in this text. It can be a relief to stop pretending to be spiritually healthy and to allow ourselves to fall into God's merciful, healing hands. The religious leaders and teachers to whom Jesus was speaking in this passage were much like us. They were working hard to be the best. They were striving to be perfect spiritually. They saw themselves as spiritually healthy. But like us all, they are sick. They were sick with fear and shame that they hid from themselves and from others. They were sick with guilt and dishonesty. They were sick with pride and greed. They were sick with self-serving and self-reliance. They were sick with defensiveness, with resentments, with judgments. They were so spiritually sick that they judged Jesus for showing mercy and grace to others. They were so spiritually sick that they did not see that they were in need of God's healing mercy. Prayer is letting this exhausting facade of spiritual self-righteousness crumble. Prayer is admitting that we are sick and in need of a doctor. Prayer allows us to stop trying harder and harder to heal ourselves. Prayer is entrusting ourselves to the great mercy of God, the healer. Like any good physician, it is God's desire for us that we acknowledge our sickness, not to shame us or judge us, but to begin a process of treatments that will lead to our healing and freedom. Prayer is going to the doctor so that the doctor can help us get well. And the prayer that accompanies this week's devotional reads as follows. Lord, I have been working hard to convince myself and others that I am spiritually healthy. I have been proud of how good I am, of how righteous I am, and even of how humble I can be. This facade is crumbling. I am experiencing the reality of my soul sickness. I see how my self-reliance, my judgments, and my religious pride has hurt me and hurt others. I see how it keeps me and those I judge from your great mercy. I am in need of your healing mercy. I am in need of a physician. I cannot heal myself. Heal me, make me whole. And following the concluding prayer, Ms. Ryan offers some suggestions for further meditation. She says that in a time of quiet reflection, ask God to show you the symptoms of your soul sickness. Take some time to acknowledge your need for God to be your physician, and ask God to help you to entrust yourself to God's mercies and healing powers. And that's been kind of the theme for my own personal walk this last week a little bit. But like she said in the devotional, it has been challenging because we don't really like to see our weaknesses. We don't necessarily like to examine ourselves, to look at the dark parts. And it's good to remember, though, that like she also points out, this introspection isn't born out of some morbid, insatiable shame or a desire to humiliate ourselves before our Maker. Rather, this introspection and this coming to terms with what's real and what's not, and what's only sort of a facade of healthy spirituality, it's all part of becoming honest with ourselves and with God. It's part of the diagnosis, even if it's severe, is a necessary step before we can actually receive the healing from the great physician himself. But wellness is the point, and wellness is the goal, and I'm grateful that God is with us on the journey, even during the difficult parts. So with that concluding thought, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening, and we'll see you next time for another devotional here at New Life Church. Thanks so much. Bye for now.